the lid on and send it. So, pesto, ow, that's hot. Buonasera. No, I'm going to stop that right now. I am not going to start doing Italian because I do not know any Italian. Je suis parlez-vous un très petit français. That's about it. Hablo non español, but I don't know Italian. Right, so red pesto. So pesto, most people put traditional with green Genovese pesto. Pesto literally just means to pound with pestle and mortar. So the word pestle, as in the pestle and mortar, comes from the same word as pesto. Pestle, pesto, there is another word that I know, but I've forgotten what it is now, that comes from the same root. Technically, any sauce that is made in that fashion is a pesto. So, pesto I'm going to make is a red pesto, which generally means it's made with sun-dried tomatoes. And I'm going to put some chilli in it as well because I like it a bit spicy. It's not a traditional type of pesto, it's just a pounded sauce, although I am going to use a food processor because I am a lazy bastard. Put some water on to boil. When that comes up to a boil, I'm going to put on some linguine. So I should be able to get this all done in the amount of time it takes to cook the linguine. But we're going to do a seafood linguine. So this is some mixed frozen seafood. Frozen seafood's fresh seafood's great, but most seafood is frozen on the boat anyway, so it tends to be frozen. A lot of it's frozen unless you're in Cornwall and it's come from the boat that's been caught in the off the Cornish coast. Like these prawns are from South America. They've been frozen already. So if you buy them frozen or fresh, they're just defrosted, fresh ones. It's a mix of prawns, got some squid, and got some scallops in here. Frozen mix of stuff that I've defrosted. I'm going to make a big batch of sauce because it keeps quite well, and then I'm going to cook a individual portion. Quick butchers in the water. No, not there yet. Oh, I need the salt. That's the water. Right. So for the pesto, we want a big jar of sun-dried tomatoes, 280 gram jar. This is actually sun-dried tomatoes in garlic, oregano and oil. What we want to do is drain off the oil and keep that oil, because that oil is going to be quite nice and we're going to want to use it in other places. So first things first, I'll get a electrician rod. There you go. Don't need to drain it all off. We're going to put some oil in the pesto anyway. If you can get a sun-dried tomato that's in a flavoured oil, it is well worth it because it just adds extra layers and a load of work will be done for you. So dry sun-dried tomatoes in the food processor. We're going to go in there with 100 grams of pine nuts that have been toasted. When you're toasting nuts, I think I've said it before, keep an eye on them, keep them moving because nuts will burn really quite easily. We're also going to put in there with that 2 cloves of garlic. They're just normal sized cloves of garlic. You don't want this too garlicky. So if you're making a smaller portion, lessen the amount of garlic. Nothing wrong. If you want it super garlicky, fair enough. But I find that after time I'll end up using this in other places where there's also garlic in other things. Like I might fry off some chillies in garlic, some prawns in garlic, and then add this sauce. So you don't want to just end up with nothing but garlic. And also, like I said as well, that oil was infused with garlic as well. So I'm already double dipping with the garlic. So that's your bad boys can go in there. We're going to add some Parmesan cheese. Not as much as you would have in a normal pesto Genovese. This is here more for, make it a bit more creamier, but also bringing some salt to the party. And 2 chillies. Now I am going to de-seed them, only because the seeds can get a bit crunchy. And they just the texture of the final product gets a little bit just not quite as nice with the seeds in there. I don't know why, because there's the nuts and stuff in there already, but the seeds do just get bitty, gravelly almost. If you want to if you want to properly dial this recipe up and make it super gorgeous, roast these peppers off first under the grill so they start to char and get a bit blackened. But those bad boys can go in there as well. Now all we need in there is put a bit of salt, not a hell of a lot, because there's already a load of oil in, a load of salt in the parmesan. I'm also going to add about teaspoon to 2 teaspoons of red wine vinegar. I would actually use juice of half a lemon usually. I haven't got any lemon at the moment, can't get it for love nor money. I've got some lime, but I find lime just doesn't quite work the same. The flavour's just that little bit wrong, it's that little bit too tangy, too sour. Whereas you want the sweetness that a lemon would bring. So red wine vinegar, although the colour is completely different, it's got that sweetness there. Right. Put the lid on and send it. Right, it's a little bit loose, a little bit not loose enough. So I'm going to stir the sides down, get it all back in where it wants to be, and I'm going to give it just a little drizzle of this oil. If you haven't got flavoured oil, give it just extra virgin olive oil is what I'd go with. Lid back on and give it another whiz. Right, almost there. Just want it a bit more saucy, so I'm going to chuck in the rest of this oil. Right, that's kind of where I want it. I'm going to give it a quick little taste. Make sure it's okay seasoning wise. Absolutely gorgeous. Now we're good. Now we're there with that. Obviously, you can make the sauce in advance. I'm just doing this all at once to show you how quick and easy this can be. Get a mug of this pasta water, because I'm going to help that. I'm going to use that to help emulsify the sauce. That pasta's done, so I'm going to drain that. Onto the main dish. Alright, I'm going to finely mince a couple of shallots. I was trying to do this in real time, but that shallot proved to be an absolute nightmare to peel. So 2 shallots, minced really quite fine. Right, so in our pan, we're going to put in about a tablespoon of butter. In there we're going to dump our shallots. I'm going to give that just a tiny little pinch of salt just to help draw out the moisture out of the shallots. There's loads of salt in the pasta water that we're going to use to emulsify it in a bit later to make a sauce. The pasta's well seasoned already, perfectly. And there's a fair bit of salt in our pesto. Once that butter's melted down and start foaming and the shallots have started to sort of break down and go a bit translucent, I'm going to go in there with our seafood. Don't take long, and there's nothing worse than overcooked seafood. And squid, you probably had really nasty squid before, like rubbish squid. And switch to the prawns, tongs. That happens when you overcook it, because the meat starts to really contract and get tough. So we're pretty much almost there for what we need. A few more seconds. Oh, we do want some pepper, because we've not actually put any pepper on it yet, so I just want to crack a pepper on here. Right, so now I'm going to go in with our pasta. I'm going to go in with some of our pasta water, probably about a tablespoon. Toss that all together, or stir, or just use your tongs. And finally, I'm going to go in with about a tablespoon of our pesto. You can see I've got a lot more than that here, and I might want about 2 tablespoons actually, thinking about it. But like I said, you can jar this up, so store it in the fridge for at least a week. I imagine you get a bit longer out of it. But yeah, we just want to cook all that together. That pasta was only al dente, so we're going to finish the pasta off in this pan. And we're just going to get everything, oh, escaped prawn, mixed in and combined. Feel like you need some more pesto, add some more pesto. If you want more pesto, add more pesto. I mean, at the end of the day, this is your lunch, dinner, breakfast, maybe if you're a king. Alright, we can kill the heat on this, because everything's cooked. We just want to keep it mixed, get it mixed up a bit. Nice big bowl. Give it a twisty twist just to tidy it up, make it a little bit more presentable. And there everything. There you go. Now I would probably give that a little drizzle, squeeze, finish off. A little quarter of a lemon, just over the top of there, just to wake it up a little bit. Like I said, I haven't got any lemon. But it'll be fine as it is. You put a little chiffonade of basil on top there as well. Quite nice to just finish it. Another little shaving of parmesan. It's completely up to you. But like I said, the time it took for the linguine to cook, we had the pesto made, and I had to faff about a bit, a few here and there. If you're using just normal oil and you've got everything pre-measured out and ready to go, you can easily knock this all together in one go while everything else is cooking. The beauty of this is I've got another 3 or 4 servings left of that pesto. So you can make a jar up of it Sunday while you're bored, and then have lunches throughout the week, a couple of dinners. You can do loads of other things with this. It's nice just on its own, nice and a bit of toast. You know the old egg, you get egg and pesto in a wrap? That's really nice with this as well, because it's a bit spicier and it's a bit tomatoey and it's just a bit different. But there you go. Completely not traditional, but absolutely gorgeous either which way. Absolutely beautiful, if I say so myself. And there we go, you know, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. And I will see you, well, when I next see you. Be good.